So this is the first time in over 100 years that a narrowboat has come down this stretch of water. This is the Wilts and Berks Canal near Royal Wootton Bassett, and they launched this boat today. So the boat has arrived. She's being renamed. I'll go into that in a bit. It's just a trip boat. They've got to do a bit of training first before it can be a trip boat, but the plan is to run regular boat trips down there sort of later in the year. It's quite a big boat, so it's not going to sort of slip in, so it's got to be craned in, which is quite a common practice. It's going up by the slipway, and then it's going to lift up and over and take the boat. So this is Nelson. This is going to be doing a lot of the dredging work after the truck saw is finished. I mentioned this in the last video, and then that allows this new trip boat to sort of be able to go up and down. So what they're doing now is they're putting platforms down, and those platforms are for putting the legs out onto, so it just gives them a better footing. It's very, very wet around here, as you can see. So if they don't have a nice spread on the footing, you're going to sink basically, and they don't want to have the boat halfway up and then obviously fall. So this spreads the weight over the wet mud. They're onto hard standing on quite a bit of it, but it's still needed to have these. So you've got the straps on the boat ready to go. Just lifting across now. So you might be able to see them just on they're dangling down at the moment underneath. Strap up over the top, and then connect onto the crane winch down. So you've got two red kites up in the sky just above the crane, which is fantastic to see. It's a testament to this bringing sort of wildlife in and hunting grounds for birds of prey, but they like to hunt by drone, so it's going to be a fun morning trying to get footage of this. And if you can see them on the camera, they're just one's just kind of on the tip of the crane over there, look. The other one's above that tree. They were quite rare for a long time, kites. And they were reintroduced to a few areas nearby to here, over in the hills kind of behind us. And they've taken off, and you see them everywhere now. It's great to see. I think the farmers used to use a pesticide that destroyed their eggs or something, thinned the shells of their eggs, so the chicks didn't sort of even hatch. That was long banned though, so they've made a massive recovery. So what they've done is they've tied off to the hooks on each side, so they can just literally bring it down. They'd have to climb on the back of the truck. I was wondering how they were going to do that, because normally you see someone on the truck just sort of connecting a strap in, but there's no room on it. You can't get to the sides. So that means they can just pull it down on either side, look. And they've got the hooks on the right side. They can connect into the strap in, and then probably pull it out and lift at the same time as well.
So here we go. This is quite an important moment for the Trust. Having a trip boat on the canal does a lot of good things for the canal. One, it gets the boat running up and down. It's important to kind of keep the water stirred up as much as possible. And the other thing is, it gives the opportunity for the Trust to raise awareness in the local community. The trip boat word gets around, people start knowing about the canal. So people who may not have known about the canal originally will suddenly start to hear about it. The other thing as well, the obvious thing, is it creates a revenue for the Trust by having paying customers using the boats. So this is the second trip boat the Trust have. They also have Dragonfly up at Swindon. That section is going to soon be joined on to another section where they can run quite large trips down into like the new canal that's being built around Swindon as well. It's not a massive amount of land between sort of here and Swindon itself that you need to get through. You've got to get under the M4, but the hope is, within a few years that this will all be connected, and you can run boats all the way through it. They have other trip boats as well. They've got the Mary Archer, which is like a trailable boat, as well as I think there's a second boat that they've got down at Pewsham. They run sort of boat trips down at Pewsham during the summer, and they do things like the Folk Festival and sort of the big events in Chippenham and Melksham. They were hoping to get the boat in the water on the 24th of February, but unfortunately on the lane there's a barrier and they couldn't get it to go down. So the transport company has held it in storage for a week, and it's been done now. So the boat was originally known as Beeston. It was owned by Marina and used as a day boat. You can still see that they've still got some of the vinyls on there now. They couldn't remove them while it's on the back of the lorry, so it'll be done whilst it's in the water. The transport company were also very kind and jet washed the boat ready for it going into the water. So the crane only had a certain amount of reach, so they've dropped the boat basically where they could. On the other side, when they were trying to drop it, they found some rocks and stuff which were blocking where they could actually drop the boat and stuff. There's still some clearing needs to be done here. So they dropped it in, and then we kind of had to pull it across because despite the engine running hard, it just couldn't move itself where the sludge is so thick here in the bottom of the canal. It's not too hard pulling a boat. That's why it was quite easy to sort of leg boats through tunnels, and for horses to pull boats, you can take a lot of weight floating on water and move it quite easily compared to how you could if you were pulling, say, a lorry with wheels. You'd never move it, but with a boat floating on water, it's nice and easy. So a little bit of to and fro-in, a little bit of engine work, and eventually we got somewhere close.
People around here will know about Vic Miller. He did a lot for the town. He certainly did a lot for canal restoration in this area, and he had a boat he called Nonsuch, after Nonsuch Palace, which was a place in Surrey where he grew up.
Here she goes. You can see the beautiful trail that is pulling up. So that's just sediment off the bottom being disturbed. Obviously not being used for such a long time in this canal, it's going to be full of it.
Nonsuch the boat went all over the country. It was a tradable boat. He wanted it to be a trip boat, but he couldn't do so because it would be too light. If you have all the people running onto one side of the boat to see something, it could tip up. When he died, he left quite a lot of money to the trust, which has partly been spent on Studley Grange, getting that fully restored, and we acquired some land here by the houses where we can have a frontage to the canal.
So from the air, with that brown water where we've had so much rain and stuff, it's obviously washed a lot of dirt into the water. The canals are generally quite brown anyway, but this real dark sediment coming up from the air, you can't really see it so well from down below here, but when you're looking down on it, it's actually quite beautiful. It's like an ink stain across paper. It's really cool. You can see they've hit a bit of gunk here. And this will help. Running this boat up and down regularly will help to keep this channel clear. You disturb all of that sediment, it gets washed down through rather than settling in the canal. They've got Nelson to deal with it as well. You can see, look, there's some huge chunks that looks like a bit of wood or even be an old bottle or something actually that's floated up there. And this has all got to be disturbed. You got sort of clumps of reeds floating away there when the anchors have come loose. And you need this on a canal, otherwise it will just fill up with reeds, it'll fill up with silt, and it will shut itself down. It's still moving at the moment. They've hit quite a fixed spot. Just here, if you watched last week's video, you'll see was where they dredged it quite heavily. This is Hancock's water. So they had the truck saw and they cleared a lot out of here. It was very, very shallow through this section. And it's technically a river here. From kind of just up ahead here, and it goes down to a spillway. So there's a new site up there, and it's flushed a load of stuff down from the site into the canal. So where this stream comes in is a bit of a winding hole, so they're going to turn around here and then head back.
We thought we'd better use some more of the money on a trip boat and realise his dream. So this boat has just come down from Cheshire. It's had its name changed. It's now going to be called Nonsuch, as a memento of Vic and his generosity to the trust. It will take 8 passengers and 2 crew, and we just tested it this morning. It managed to get it to 2/3 of the way along the canal. It obviously needs a bit more work.
So for me in the future trip boat, have a great day.